You are listening to the B.I.G. Show with your hosts, Calvin and Garland. The B.I.G. Show is a weekly breakdown of the sports world from a fan's perspective. Here are your hosts, Calvin and Garland.
It is the big show.
Big up.
I'm Calvin, the cheating guy. Well, that guy over there is Garland.
Y'all about to find out. We got a new designation on the show today. Wait till we get to the picks.
We are back.
Wait till we get to the picks. We got a new designation on the show today.
We might have to start bringing out the belts again.
Belt We're the back. Butt, people. Belt the butt.
Anyway, if you have Spotify, you can see our little mugs. We're live on YouTube right now. We are on all of the podcast platforms. And as I started to say, if you have Spotify, you'll be able to see our faces when it downloads to Spotify. Anyway, Garland, what's going on? What's going on?
I had to take my belt off last week, y'all. Had to take my belt off last week. I'm not even a corporal punishment type of dude because I used to hate to get beaten. So, I never was a fan of the belt. But sometimes you got to take your belt off. But nonetheless, I'm doing well, man. I definitely got a special music corner too because something special happened during the week and stuff. So I'm going to talk about that. But it was a great week. What about yourself, Cal?
Hey, man, you know what? All I'm saying is if you get outside help, then is it really a victory? I mean, we'll talk about it later, but if you get outside help, is it really a victory? Well, and you got the ultimate outside help. You know what?
Well, Mary said it's the God in me. My name does begin with the seventh letter. I mean, we try to get, the earths and the gods, what I'm talking about. We talking that God language, I already got G in the name, but nonetheless, we're going to start off right, y'all. So let's talk about what we're going to talk about because I want to save that to the end. And so we're going to talk a little Ravens recap. We're going to talk some NFL. We're going to talk about, I got a special music corner. We got a special inspired Come On Yo. And we're going to start off with Major League Baseball. I know this is, everybody doesn't love baseball. Probably nobody's watching it. But we're in the postseason. We're in the NLCS and the ALCS, and the Dodgers. They lead the NLCS 3-2 over the Mets. The Mets came back, had a big win last night. It looked like it was pretty much done. Mookie had a big game 4, hit a home run. He almost hit for the cycle. I think he was a triple short of the cycle. Had a big game. They won that game. And then last night, I don't think they struck out the whole entire game, the Mets. They won, I believe, 12-5 was the final score of that game. And so, no, 12-6, I apologize. And so just been competitive, Dodgers, both games that they've won by large margins. Of course, game 1 was 9-0, and they won game 3 8-0, and then they turned around and won game 4 10-2. But the Mets, they've been hanging in there, doing the best that they can. Yankees, they've really set themselves apart. It looks like Giancarlo Stanton, he woke up and realized that he can play baseball outside of being injured. And he's been smacking a whole bunch of home runs in this playoff game. And the Yankees are right now up 3-1. I know that the TV execs are very excited about this to get a New York, probably LA series. I don't think we're going to get the New York series, which I'm very happy about. The Guardians, they did come back in 10 innings for game 3, won a walk-off 7-5. They had the lead last night, gave it up. They came back, got the lead, and then got into the 9th and then gave it up to the Yankees. The Yankees wound up winning 8-6. And so, Cal, I mean, what do you think? And I mean, you think there's any chance for the Guardians or the Mets?
Well, first of all, my baseball predictions have been pure trash.
Pretty much. My
pure trash. The only thing I semi came close to getting right. Well, of course, the Yankees. I mean, that was a lock. I mean, everybody had that. But the only thing I came close to semi getting right was the Mets advancing. And that's semi because they're still in it. I mean, and they actually have a chance. The Guardians really should be eliminated without that comeback the other night. It would be they'd have been swept. So yeah, no real feelings on it. When are the Orioles starting to make some trades or signing some free agents? What are we going to do with them? So that's all I care about because my baseball predictions are trash. But I am looking forward to the Dodgers Yankees series. Now that I said it, it's going to be the Mets and the Guardians. So
you know what? I got a mini. Come on, Major League Baseball. Why are these games not on the main stations? I knew that there was a Yankee game on Friday night, Guardians game, but I could not find it. I didn't realize it was on True TV. Who's going to True TV or TBS to watch a game? You telling me that y'all couldn't get ABC to, y'all couldn't preempt Battle of the Network Stars or something? Y'all could, whatever reality show y'all got on Friday nights, y'all couldn't have put that show on. America's Funniest Videos. Same thing with the Fox game. The Fox game is on FX Sports. How come that's not on the regular Fox station? I'm like, okay.
I think they get the World Series. I think their contract.
Yeah, they get the World, but still in the same. You want the biggest audience. Yes, you're playing in two of the biggest media markets in the country, but still in the same. Just for the casual fan, you want to not have to do an extensive search to get to the game. To me, I'm like, FX1. I didn't know the game was on the FX1. I woke up this morning. I was like, oh my God. Oh, I didn't realize the Dodgers game was on that. It should have been on the main Fox station. So yes, I know they get the World Series, but a lot of these games you have not been able to find because they're just not doing a great job of advertising. You said it in terms of the wild cards. Why are they playing the wild card games at 3:00, 4:00 in the day? Like that second Dodgers game in the NLCS against the Mets, that was a daytime game. It was like, okay, why is this a 2:00, 3:00, 4:00 game? This is in a major market. Are y'all scared of Monday Night Football? Thursday Night Football? I'm not quite sure. Are you scared of the Friday Night Football games, the college games? But yeah, so come on, yo. Look, Major League Baseball, yes, you've done a great job. You got a pitch clock. You cut down the time of the game. It's exciting. Stolen bases are back up and all of those great things. A lot of great things happen this season. Now y'all need to work on this TV stuff. Get this TV stuff straight. Get these games where you can find them.
Yeah, they so you know this, but they always give it to the highest bidder. So TBS probably bid the most. But the problem is when you doing that Turner, and that's the Turner Network stations. So I believe True TV is part of that. But the problem is when you're doing that, you're not doing a great job of advertising it. The times feel like they're a little awkward. And right now with the other streaming services going on, they're not the major networks we consider. But baseball is doing some different things. We talked about earlier in the season how they jumped on Apple TV for some of the games. So in some ways you can look at it like baseball is being innovative, but they're just going after the money. I mean, it depends on how you look at it. The thing we do know is that baseball isn't going anywhere. I doubt if they change it, they're just going to wait until the contract's up. And then they're going to go to the next highest bidder. I wouldn't be surprised if all of the games start broadcasting on Major League TV, Major League Baseball TV, which is another subscription altogether. All of the postseason games.
I would have loved it being there. It would have been easier to find.
It'd have been a lot easier to find.
A lot easier to find. Oh my God, come on!
And let me correct that. They are all on there now, but I mean exclusively.
Yeah, exclusively. There. Yeah, we know that. And we've talked about this in the past of how these leagues are getting greedy. You got the NFL talking about they're going to have a Super Bowl out of the country. They're having one of these Christmas games. As a matter of fact, the Ravens Christmas game is going to be on Netflix against the Texans. The Thursday night game is difficult for some people, older people, to find unless it's in your market. It's your home team. You're not going to see that Thursday night game unless you got a stick. And so yeah, it's a lot.
Just
NBA
like this,
TV as well. Mm-hmm.
just like this double Monday night game. The Ravens game is
Right.
going to be nationally broadcast on ESPN, but the second game is actually ESPN Plus
Right.
only, which is a subscription service that you have to have.
Yeah.
So
Now, so they saw what Peacock did last year with the wild card, and now they're putting a prime game on their behind their paywall. And so yeah,
mhm.
it's just getting sucky in terms of for the fan. And if you want to get access, you want that kind of like on the edge viewer. It's got to be better promoted and in a place where it's easy to get to. Let's go ahead and transition to some NFL. There are a couple trades that took place during the week. On Tuesday, we saw some wide receiver movement. The Raiders, they traded Devontae Adams to the Jets for a 2025 conditional third round pick, and it goes up based on Adams' performance, so it could go as high as a second round if he makes all pro or if he makes the All-Star game. And so this gives him an opportunity to reunite with his Packers quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. And the Browns, they traded Amari Cooper for a third round pick in 2025 and a 2026 seventh round pick. The Bills are Cooper's fourth team since he was drafted fourth overall by the Raiders in 2015. And so which team do you think benefited most from the trade, Calvin? Either the Jets or the Bills?
I think popular opinion is going to be Devontae Adams to the Jets, but I'm actually looking at that Amari Cooper to the Bills because Amari Cooper still has hands. Now, he didn't do so well in Cleveland, but I don't think he wanted to be there anymore. I think a lot of them are just sick of Deshaun Watson, his lack of good play, his lack of what seemingly is effort. But I think Amari Cooper still has enough where he can open up the floor for Josh Allen, and because they don't have a receiver. And that's the one thing we saw when we played them, when they came to Baltimore and the Ravens played them. They don't really have a receiver that you can be scared of. And Amari Cooper is not one that you may fear anymore, but you know he has some hands. He's going to command some attention. That's going to open up the game for them a little more. So I'm really looking at that more than I'm looking at the Devontae, because I just don't think Aaron Rodgers has it like he had it before. I think he's accurate, but I just don't think that team is good. Plus, they're 2-4. They're battling from the bottom. It's going to be they're going to have to make some.
They got some ground to make
moves.
up.
Yeah. So I'm looking at that Bills. I think that solidifies the Bills to be a playoff contender. Well, they're already contender to be a playoff team and to win that division.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the better of the two was the Bills. Although Cooper is not a one anymore, he's kind of like a 1C. They don't have any ones on that team. Sharif was doing well. The guy was playing in the slot, and the rookie that they drafted, he was good too. But they're not really carrying that team. I think adding Cooper to that mix helps them out a lot. So I think it's a good, solid trade. I really just think Aaron Rodgers is washed. And I think bringing in Adams at this point, is he going to start trying to force the ball to him a lot? Garrett Wilson, he had a great game on Monday night. And if they feed Breece Hall, they've kind of forgotten about him. And maybe it's because they've had some issues on the offensive line in terms of running the ball. But Breece Hall had a very good game as well. And so maybe if they get back to passing more, they start doing some play action, maybe that'll be a benefit. But I think coming in 6 games in already, that's a tough thing to make up. If you're going to make that move, you probably should have pulled the trigger earlier in the season and did that and go ahead and just rock out with it. But the fact that they did not pull that trigger earlier in the season, to me, you're playing catch up. And I think with Cooper going to the Bills is not as much of a catch up as you would have on the other team. Oh, we got 2 Calvins. we got 2.
Bro,
all right,
what's going on?
It's all good. It's funny, as I was talking, I was like, is he moving or is he really listening to me? Because I'm like, maybe what I'm saying is really good because you wasn't moving. I was like, no, I'm just gonna keep on talking.
This thing be kicking me out. Anybody want to donate to my laptop upgrade?
We're gonna have to do maybe we had to do an OnlyFans for this. OnlyFans for the Big Show.
I'm a, I don't want. I don't want to do an OnlyFans because I might only command enough to get a Commodore 64. I
Right.
might,
I get a Windows 98 out of this.
I'm gonna have to start typing in codes and stuff just to log on.
Control F. Yeah, y'all. So
Wow,
we're gonna have to do something. So some Joe Corby's pizza or something. We'll do something to raise some money. And so yeah.
Oh so good, double good popcorn, whatever
Right.
they call that
The
shit.
double good joints.
Jeez.
Yes, get your kettle corn, y'all, so we can get Cal an upgrade.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree with you. I mean, both of them being in the division, I still think the division, although the Bills have the best record in the division, depending on they're saying that Tua will be back in a couple weeks, maybe by week 8. The Dolphins do have the weapons where they could, get back in and score. That's their thing. If they can get back in, they get Tua back in and they start really clicking offensively, then, that turns it into a 3-team race. But right now, I think that bolstered the Bills being in first. It gave them a little bit more solid on the outside, helps them with their foundation. We'll see what happens with the Jets. Also, there's so much drama there. You kind of hope that they stumble anyway. So
not this week though. No, I don't want them stumbling this week.
Yeah, we want them to win this week, but we'll see. And I believe that's the Sunday night game, and so we'll see. That's a Sunday night game. So Calvin, let's play a game. Let's play GM. And so with this trade deadline coming up, we saw a couple movements. There's always rumors out there who you should pick up and who you shouldn't pick up. And so if we were the Ravens GM right now, do you make a trade with this team or do you stand pat? That's the first part of the question. Do you think the team should make a trade? And I'll give you both questions. Do you think the team should make a trade or just hold with what they got? And then if they did make a trade, who should they be targeting?
So yes, they should make a trade. We've talked about this just in our little text groups. We've talked about this. I think they should get themselves a pass rusher, a legit pass rusher, whether it's Max Crosby. There's a new name on the market. Well, let me back up. Whether it's Max Crosby, whether it's the guy with the Jets. Oh man, I've been calling his name all week, and of course I can't remember his name now.
Mm-hmm.
With the Jets, the unhappy came from Philly. Now,
Hassan Reddick.
Reddick, whether it's Reddick or the new name that's popped up is Cleveland's guy maybe on the market. Za'Darius maybe.
Za'Darius Smith. Okay. Yeah, former Raven, was drafted by the Ravens.
And he shitted on us to go to Minnesota, but
whatever. Yeah. We thought we had him signed, and then he came back like, oh no, they're giving me more money. I gotta go.
Exactly. But I think the Ravens should make a trade, and I think they should get a legit pass rusher.
I like the pass rusher, but that's why they signed Ngakoue, and so Ngakoue is kind of like that's going to be last year's Clowney. Some people mention Clowney, maybe with the Panthers having a season. It doesn't look like I don't even think the Panthers. Yeah, they've won one game, but they're 1-5 right now. There's not a thought that they're really going to be playoff bound. Maybe Clowney might be available at some point. He did play well here last year, and that him playing well here got him that contract down in Carolina. I would like to see some help back in the secondary. I think somewhere in the safety area, what if the Honey Badger is available or someone like that? Maybe another extra cornerback. I think, in the terms of safety, they need something back there. So that it gives Hamilton a chance to be closer to the line, really play in some run support, some blitzing where he really excels. And so I would like to see that as well. And so, yeah, definitely on the defensive side. I don't think they need anything on the offensive side. I think offensively, they are super tight. A lot of people wanted to get rid of Bateman for the last 3 years. That relationship with Lamar is really blooming. We're seeing it this season.
Starting to come on.
And I think also a lot of times they were running Bateman on go routes, and Lamar ain't got the go arm. Lamar is not throwing it 60, 70 yards down the field on go routes, and a lot of those routes, Bateman was open, and I think I was listening to Mina Kimes. The Ravens, they're not taking these big hit plays like they were doing in the years past. They were play action team, and usually when they were doing play action, they were going for home runs. And so play action, they're trying to go long. This year, they're not trying to go long with the play action. And so, I think that fits better. They've realized how they should be using Bateman, which is better. Of course, Zay is doing what Zay does, doing Zay things. It's good to see what Mark did last week. Mark Andrews likely has been stepping up. And so having all these riches of choices in the pass game, and then, of course, you got Henry. I think offensively, they're great. If they picked up somebody offensively, maybe as an offensive lineman. But outside of that, I think in the skill positions, they're great.
I'm waiting for there hasn't been any word, and I actually looked it up today before we got on. I'm waiting for Keaton Mitchell to get healthy, man.
I think once you get King taking you downfield, and then you throw in Keaton Mitchell into that mix, man. Whoo, okay, it's really gonna take off.
A couple times Justice did it. You saw they pounded you, and they paused, but they pounded you with Derrick Henry, and then they just let Justice Hill just shoot right in the middle. But I'd like to see Keaton Mitchell back now. Of course, with his injury, we don't know how healthy he's going to come back, if he's going to be the same guy, but hopefully he will.
Hopefully he's young enough. He's young enough.
Yeah, I want to see him. And if you think about it, if you look at our boy, that's J.K. Dobbins, that's out in San Diego right now.
Doing very well out there.
Yeah, after a few years of being on the injured list, he's come back extremely healthy. So hopefully he'll keep it up. Except, I don't want him to not be healthy, but I don't want him to keep up his running when we play him. When we play him, hopefully he'll,
Well, our run defense is stout. They're going to have to throw the ball, and so we're going to blow them out because Greg Roman calling pass plays, we're going to be all right in that game.
If John does not, now listen, this got to be a game where John has to win that Chargers game. He has to be able to say, "Oh, I already know what Roman going to do. Let's just play this type of defense." John has to win that game. Right. Anyway, that's some weeks away. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. So Ravens doing well. I think any help that they need to get. But let me say one thing before we get into our Ravens recap, man. One thing we don't talk about Derrick Henry. That nose ring. We tried. I remember when Jay-Z said, we keep on forgetting that Tupac had a nose ring. Now Derrick Henry, he running over people, but this bro got a big old cross in his nose.
He can have a nose ring, a lip ring, an ear ring. He can connect them. He can connect them like Xerxes and 300 if he wants to, as long as he's doing what he's doing. I don't give a damn how many rings. He can have a lip ring, a tongue ring, an eye ring. I don't care. Nipple rings. Just keep being Derrick Henry. Shit, ring-a-ding-ding, school bell ring. I don't give a damn.
Ring-a-ling-ding-ding, touchdown. You okay? Give that man the ball.
Shit, give him the ball. Let that nigga be at Claire's every week if he want to.
Yeah. I think I saw him walking into the stadium the other day. He had on a white beater. I think I did see nipple rings under that beater.
Hey, he can connect them with a chain if he want. His girl can have a coochie ring. I don't give a damn. Let that nigga wait. He can have rings on all his fingers. He can have a toe ring as far as I'm concerned. Just keep running that motherfucking ball. Shit. Yeah. Give a damn. And you know what else we don't talk about on Derrick Henry? Because it ain't his main thing. But he is catching passes out the backfield too.
Yeah.
And taking them.
Yeah. He catches some screen passes, yo. He can catch the ball.
Get a nigga a neck ring. I don't give a damn. Lamar can see him in the beginning of the huddle, the first huddle, and be like, "With this ring, I be hand off. I don't give a damn." Dude, he can have nose rings in both nostrils.
he,
The
he up,
fuck?
he up here looking like pocking above the rim.
I don't, nigga. I don't care. I don't care.
I'm like, is this
I don't care. Shit.
like California love up in here? What's this, man?
Shit. Look, how they used to do it. Nose ring, ear ring, Super Bowl ring. I don't give a damn. Henry for 2,000 yards.
Right.
Shit. Let's go.
Anyway, man, let's go ahead and get to this Ravens recap. The Ravens won their fourth game in a row by defeating the Commanders 30-23 at M&T Bank on Sunday. Lamar was 20 for 26, 323 yards and one TD, one interception, which really wasn't his fault. King Henry, nose ring. He was 24 carries for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Zay, he put in that work in the first half. He had 9 receptions for 132 yards. They start doubling him in the second half, and Lamar start hitting everybody else. And so several national commentators are saying that it could be another MVP year for Lamar. What are your thoughts?
This has to be, and all the talk was about Jaden Daniels. Even after the game, they were talking about how he threw for 200 something yards and all this. Lamar threw for 300 something yards. This is probably one of, if not the most complete Ravens game that I can remember seeing. Right. Even when they would that interception at the beginning, the first drive, and they were down 3-0. I still did not feel like there was panic set in. And if you remember, in previous years, Todd Monken, last year, Todd
previous
Monken
years,
like,
go back to the first and second game, bro. What you talking about previous years?
But they would feel like the Ravens would start playing like they were down by 20. Mm-hmm. The AFC Championship game, you're only down one score. They felt like they were in panic mode.
Yeah.
This entire game, the Ravens were passing when they needed to. What's not being it's being talked about now is Lamar's accuracy. Remember, we've always talked about Lamar's not hitting these guys in stride. Lamar is playing ball. He is accurate. And why is he an MVP candidate? He looks so comfortable back there. That play action with Derrick Henry, and everybody's trying to figure out what has gotten into Lamar. Well, Derrick Henry is back there now. That play action is killer, and Lamar is accurate. The receivers are open. Bateman is running good routes, and like you said, he's just not running go routes anymore. Zay has had a few games now where he could almost be an MVP candidate. I mean, the offensive line after game 1, they're starting to gel. I mean, they are looking like a complete team. Now, the defense still needs to work, but the defense is not breaking. They broke in the first couple games. And what are you going to do against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins? Like, you expected them, but when they needed to, they came up with the turnover. Yeah, man. This game was one of those games where the score was close, but it didn't feel as close.
I was going to say that because to me, and I was saying that to a couple people this week, that score did not really indicate how much the Ravens were in charge of this game. I mean, it never felt like they were going to relinquish this lead at all. They ran the ball when they wanted to run the ball. They loaded up and went play action when they wanted to go play action. Lamar hit whoever he wanted to hit. Defensively, they wound up doing well. I mean, McLaren had a good game, and the second touchdown. I don't know what more Brandon Stevens could do. I mean, he was there. His arm is in between McLaren's hands. And
if you get 5 points for catching the defender, also he caught the ball and he hit the ball up. So Terry caught the ball twice and caught Brandon Stevens on. You couldn't do nothing about that.
It was nothing really you couldn't do about that. And so I think the defense played better. They didn't give up a whole bunch of chunk players, although you saw, some good pickup and some yardage. When it came to make some stops, they did. That was the difference in the game. They made
Mm-hmm.
stops. At first, you would think, okay, this is going to be up and down, up and down. Whoever has the ball last is going to win. But once we got into the second half, you did see a couple stops that were critical, and then the Ravens came right back down and scored. Either it was a field
Mm-hmm.
goal or it was a touchdown. I think statistically, Lamar is having a way better year this year than he did last year.
He is.
Um, he is a great play action passer. I think that's his jam. Him just straight dropping back 30, 35 times a game, I'm not necessarily comfortable with that. I like when he's coming out of play action. It opens up the field more. He's a great middle of the field thrower. He's a great open window thrower, and he gets the throws there. And so I like the fact that he's not trying to hit a home run off of every play action, and they're taking advantage of the strengths. And so,
Mm-hmm.
he's playing at a clip. I think that's better than the clip he was playing last year. But of course, they tried to give the MVP to Josh Allen at the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking about J.J. Watt was having the greatest year ever, and what's got Aiden Hutchinson? He broke his leg Sunday in Dallas. They were trying to give Lamar is
They
always
trying to
going to be
give
in the.
Jaden Daniels. They
They're
trying
trying
to
to
give
give
Jaden
I,
Daniels.
Romo. Oh my God! I just turned down the sound after a while because I'm like, if Romo does not take his mouth off of Jaden Daniels' thingy, his willie. If he was like one throw, he's like, oh my God, that's so Mahomesian. I'm like, oh my God, come on, man.
If it wasn't for Scary Terry, because even that first touchdown was just a great play by
Right,
McLaren. If it wasn't for McLaren, Jaden Daniels doesn't have the numbers that he has. Like it wasn't like and even with Lamar, if you notice through that game, neither one of them made eye popping plays.
right.
Lamar made some very good plays, and I will give Jaden Daniels. There were a couple
He
passes he
played
made that I
well.
was just like, whoa,
He made
that's a
some
decent
throws.
pass, yeah. But it just yeah, there's
He
no
made some
comparison.
throws. Yeah,
There's
I
no
mean,
comparison right now.
let's get to 12 games in, 13 games in, and they are in the playoff hunt. Then okay, all right, we can really start having these bigger conversations about Jaden Daniels. I mean, hey, like everyone says, Kingsbury's offense, it always starts off great. It never ends great. And so, right now, it's great. You got same thing happened when he had Lil Man in Arizona. That offense was popping. They was running up, scores on teams and everything. Then when they got late into that second half of the season, that teams start to figure it out. They start to play differently on that offense, and that offense start to struggle. And so we'll see. Let's give it some time before we anoint this guy the second coming. But with Romo, he's the worst. He's one. We need to have the top 10 worst announcers, next week. But he's one of the worst announcers in the game. He just
I like
he
Roma.
yeah he it's too much.
I like him.
It's idol worship with Romo. It gets on my nerves after a while. I
It
mean,
can't be more than
now I'm
it's
gonna tell
kind of
you. He said something. Now you was at the game, right? And so
yeah. I was at the
you
game,
didn't
so
hear
I
him
didn't hear that.
say. You didn't hear him say that John Harbaugh was a Hall of Fame coach. Okay, now I see. I knew. See, I knew you would. He said that John Harbaugh, the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens, is not
Now,
only a top 10 coach. Okay, I could go with that. All right, that's he's won consistently, but he said he's a surefire Hall of Famer.
now, let me say this: just because of his tenure with the Ravens, his win-loss record, his ability to have teams in the playoffs and the Super
Mm-hmm.
Bowl win, he is a Hall of Fame coach by definition. However, he is not now. Had he said he's one of the greatest coaches ever, I would have to side But he is a Hall of Fame coach by definition. You can't take that away from John. And I don't like him. I don't like him. But you can't take that away from John. He's a Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Fame coach.
Okay.
He's a Hall of Fame coach.
Mm.
He's
All
a Hall
right.
of Fame coach.
Okay.
Come on, Garland. He's a Hall of Fame coach.
Hey, you the one that Harbaugh. You the one that he would have
Harbaugh.
been. Harbaugh.
Harbaugh. I've been calling him Harbaugh these past 2 years. This last season and this season, I called him Harbaugh. I've been getting his name out properly.
Yeah.
But I was just always like, Harbaugh? Who's that
Harbaugh.
quarterback out there, Harbaugh?
Harbaugh. He said Harbaugh's a Hall of Famer. So anyway,
he's a Hall of Fame coach.
hey y'all, let me give y'all a little scenario about maybe usually on like Wednesdays or something. I get a text from Calvin, and Calvin texts me because the Thursday night game is coming up, and so I don't think we did a lot of pre-picking, and so he texted me, and he's like, "Hey man, what's your picks?" And I kind of was like, "Hey bro, I said I need to talk to God first before I give you my picks. These are gonna be God picks." God picks. What? You need help? You need help? I said, "Wow, bro." Now I really had said this because I actually was in transit to work, and so I'm not supposed to be texting while I'm driving, and so I was kind of like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna tell him I'm consulting with God." But I did. I sat down, had a little talk with God, like Stevie said. When you think that life's too hard, just go have a talk with God. So I sat down. I had a little talk, me and God. We were on first name basis, and I talked to God, and I came up with these picks. And I want to let everyone know, your boy Garland had a perfect week last week, 14 for 14 with the picks. And because I went 14 for 14 with the picks, we're going to call that a double G week. Guard and Garland. So whoever has a perfect week is going to be known as from here forth and forevermore. From henceforth and forevermore. A double G week. Guard and Garland. Guard and Garland had a perfect 14 for 14 picks last week. Your boy didn't miss on any picks. But my co-host, he missed on 2 of his picks. But I'm not finished. And so, yeah. So Calvin, he missed on his Jaguars and the Bears pick because the Jags were over in London. I don't know why, because the Jags play the most games in London, because eventually they're going to end up there. But Calvin thought that was some type of home field advantage for the Jags, and the Bears blew them out. And then I think he won't admit it was a hate pit. He took the Giants over the Bengals. But, it's no way. I was like, Danny Dimes is going to throw for a lot. Yes, Danny Dimes. I was like, Calvin, you sure this is not a hate pick? No, this is not a hate pick. Danny Dimes. I was like, okay, bro. Okay. Me and God, we just went here with our picks. And so, yeah, shout out to me and God. Thank you, Father. We had a perfect 14 for 14 last week and all. So before we get into any of these picks today, did you want to say something, Cal?
Yeah, so I don't know when this turned into a religious podcast, but as y'all can see, and if y'all don't know, Garland is a deacon. So Deacon Garland went up to God. No, it is not fair. Do you know who helped me pick? No one.
You didn't get the landlord to help you pick?
No. And that's because when I asked the landlord, that's exactly what he said. He said, "No, Papa." He didn't want to help. Listen, first of all, you cheating. Now this is a religious podcast now. So now at the end we're gonna be doing the benediction. I mean, what's happening here? Like, I'm trying.
Now unto him that is able to keep us from falling.
And do you hear him? Do you hear him? Matter of fact, when he got on the podcast, him and Paula was back there because I don't know if you know this, but Paula just came back from seminary school.
Yes,
exactly. So it's 3 of them, y'all. As soon as he got on the podcast, he was like, "All right, I'll talk to you later, baby. God is good." And she was like, "All the time." all the time, and he
God
gonna
was
come
good.
back with God is good. Listen, y'all, I'm trying to tell you, it is not fair. It is not fair in these streets. Now, granted, I did take the Jaguars because I thought the Jaguars had a home field advantage, and they got blown out. But if you watch the Giants Bengals game,
It
exactly
was
what happened,
close. It was very close.
because the Bengals, it wasn't Danny
It was
Downs, it
very
was the
close.
Bengals defense
It was,
sucked, and
yes,
then
very close.
but they couldn't get a first down to save their lives, so it
No,
was
they
bad
couldn't.
after that. But no, you know what? I'm gonna let Garland have this, but I'm telling you right now, I ain't calling no grown man Garland picks or whatever you want to
The
just
double
say over
G.
there.
The double G. You did a double G. I
I,
give myself away so you can use me. Thank
I
you,
can't
Father.
even cuss the I can't even cuss the rest. Even cuss the rest of the podcast now because it'll be blasphemy.
All right,
And
so
I used to be an acolyte. Like I used to go here and snuff out the little candles, and you know what I
right, you little Catholic boy.
mean.
They ain't touch you, did
Oh
they?
my! I was actually Methodist, but we still
Methodist. Yeah,
yeah,
Methodist.
we still did the candle thing,
Right,
so we
right.
weren't we
I
weren't
forgot all about the
Catholic.
Methodist. That's right.
Yeah,
Good
it was
Methodist kid.
Christ United Methodist Church, chasing Washington Street, still out there popping.
Yeah.
CUMC gang, CUMC gang. What? When we see each other, that's what we yell. CUMC gang.
Thank you, Father. First, I'd like to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for the double G week.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying,
Yeah,
y'all?
let's go ahead
You
and
see what
get
I'm saying?
into it. Let's get into it. So we both picked a Broncos over the Saints, and so we're both starting off with one win apiece for the week. And so let's go ahead and run down the games quickly. Patriots, they are back in. The Patriots are gone over the pond to play the home team Jags in London. Who you taking?
Oh gosh. I'm gonna go out on a limb again, and I'm gonna go ahead and take the Jags again.
I'm gonna take
Jags.
I'm gonna take the Patriots on this one. I think they'll get the second game. I think they'll get this game as well. The Jags are just terrible this year.
They are. They're very bad.
Yeah. Seahawks, they're down in Atlanta, Hotlanta to play the Falcons. I'm taking the Falcons. Who you taking?
Oh, I'm taking the Seahawks.
Seahawks. All right. The Titans, they head up to Buffalo to take on the Bills. Who you got in that one?
I got a potential upset, but give me the Bills because of Amari Cooper.
As a matter of fact, your boy Levis is not starting that game. Mason Rudolph is going to start that game for the Titans.
Oh, they better be careful. Buffalo better be careful.
Yeah.
He gonna hit you with he gonna hit somebody with a helmet.
Right.
Who you taking? You ain't say who you would take.
Oh, I'm taking the Bills as well. I apologize. I'll take the Bills. The Bengals, they head up to Cleveland to take on the Browns. I'm taking the Browns in that game.
Really?
Yeah. This return of Nick Chubb. Although they got rid of Cooper, I think Nick Chubb is really going to help them out. I'll learn something about the Browns.
Joe Burrow has never won in Cleveland.
Oh, well, maybe that's why I took the Browns.
He ends that Sunday. Cincinnati's going to win that game.
All right. Look at you.
Deshaun is horrible.
Look at you.
You think Trevor Lawrence is bad. Deshaun is horrible.
Look at you studying. All right. The Texans are in Green Bay to take on the Packers. I'm taking the Pack. Who you taking?
This might be the game of the week. I'm going to take the Texans.
Going to take Texans on the road.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
The
the Dolphins, they're still kind of spinning. They are in Indianapolis to take on the Colts.
Anthony Richardson is supposed to be playing. I don't know about Jonathan Taylor, but I'm going to still take the Colts.
Okay, I'm going to take the Colts as well. The Lions, this is probably the game of the week as well. Lions, they are in Minnesota to take on the undefeated Vikings. I'm taking the Lions.
Are you? Oh, yes, I really like that Vikings defense. I'm not too sold on the offense. I'll take Detroit also. That's going to be the second game of the week because there's a third game of the week also.
Yes. Eagles, they are up in Jersey to take on the Giants. I'm taking the Eagles.
Yeah, Saquon revenge game. Give me the Eagles.
Eagles. All right, the Raiders, they're just limping along. They're in LA to take on the Rams.
I'm gonna take the Raiders.
All right, all right. I'm going to take the Rams. That's just the Raiders. That's not their year. The Panthers, they're up in D.C. with the Moes. They're taking on the Commanders.
Yeah, the Moes are pretty mad, so they're going mambo sauce all over Carolina. Give
Yeah,
me the
they're
Commanders.
making all these excuses and stuff. And oh god. Anyway, yeah, I'm taking the Moes as well. Give me the Commanders. This is the second or maybe the third big game of the week. Chiefs. They're in Santa
Mm-hmm.
Clara taking on the Niners. I think that's a 425 game.
The Chiefs are going to finally get a loss and get exposed, and I got the Niners winning this game.
All right, I'm taking the Niners as well. The Jets, the Sunday night game, they head up to Pittsburgh with Devontae Adams. He is supposed to play. They're going to put him in the lineup. They'll be facing the Steelers at home. And so, who you got in this game?
Yeah, Steelers, I think, got the number one pass defense, if I'm correct. They got a great pass defense. But I'm going to go ahead with the Jets, Aaron Rodgers, because they don't have to say Jets no more.
Right.
Jets, Rodgers, because he runs every part of that team. I'm taking the Jets.
Fireman Ed is mad because they haven't been putting him on the big screen. I was reading that in ESPN, and so
he was on the big screen that last game. They just played Monday night,
but he's saying they're not putting him on the screen enough. Not like our guy, the fat guy that takes off his shirt at the Ravens game.
But didn't he quit at one point?
He quit at one point. He quit at one point, but now he's back. He wants more shine. He wants more screen time, and so
I thought that nigga.
Yeah, so I'm taking the Jets as well. Your boy Russell Wilson, I believe, is starting. But it's tough taking the Jets against the Steelers at home. But maybe this is their time. I'm hoping. There are two Monday night games, as we mentioned a little earlier. The Chargers, they head down to Arizona to take on Lil Man and the Cardinals. I'm taking the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chargers also.
All right, Chargers. And the Monday night game, the home team, we know who's going to take. We're both taking the Ravens, but they are down in Tampa. Half of Baltimore's down there. Our boy Jason's down there. Corwin's down there. A whole gang of people. Everybody and their mother.
A rack of them.
A rack of people. A rack of yos are down in Tampa right now for the game on Monday night. Right now, Garland is leading the overall picks with 59 to Calvin's 57. Although Calvin didn't have the double G week last week, he did have 12 correct picks. So
let me say I am a little leery about this Tampa Bay game.
Really?
Yeah, so the Chase. I talked about the Chase Higgins matchup in the Cincinnati game that just tore the Ravens secondary up. The Godwin Evans matchup isn't much of a step down, maybe about a one or a half a step down from that. They also have a run game, which is a lot better than Cincinnati. The one thing they don't have is the most accurate passer, although Baker Mayfield is leading the league, I believe, in touchdown passes and yardage. I could be wrong on the yardage thing, but Baker Mayfield is having a career day. However, Baker Mayfield does not play well against the Ravens defense.
Yeah, their strength, they've just gotten a little run game, but I believe in the teams that they've lost to, those teams have been able to score. They're not the greatest defensive squad that they used to be back in years past. And so I think that's to our advantage. If they want to run the ball, that's to our defensive advantage as well. We're number one against the run. We just can't let them
have the emotional. They got the emotional edge too.
Yeah, I know, the hurricane and everything. All I'm saying is this: you can't let the wide receivers have a Chase Higgins day. That's pretty much. You can't let them have 3 or more touchdowns apiece. Or I think Higgins had 2 and Chase had 3. Maybe limit them to 1 apiece. If they're able to hold.
Baker's also mobile this season. He's about to break his own.
He's healthy, but I just like the Ravens. As long as they don't give up a lot of big plays. Let's keep them in front. If you give up a touchdown, as I've been saying to people, look, this is not 2000. This is not the Ravens 2000 defense. Nobody has a 2000 defense or the old Bears defense. You're not going to shut teams down anymore. These offenses are too complex. These skill players are too good. The pass games are too good that you think you can go in and limit teams to no touchdowns. Hold them to 20. Hold them under 20. If you're holding them to 20 to 25 points, I like that, and I think you got a chance to win.
You've
So,
also given Dean Pease more than 3 days to get ready for this.
yeah,
So that double-headed monster of Dean Pease and Zach Orr on the Defensive Strategic Planning Committee
right.
should be able to come up with something.
Yeah,
So.
I got more faith than Calvin. All right, let's keep on going.
I'm not saying I don't have faith, but I
it's
think
go-
a lot of
it's
people
going to be a
are
close game.
overlooking the Bucks. Yeah, I think a
Yeah,
lot of people are overlooking the
yeah.
Bucks.
I'm
They're
I'm not
not giving the
overlooking
Bucks
them.
enough
I'm not.
credit.
Yeah, I'm not thinking we're going to go down there and blow them out. It's going to be like a 30. It'll probably be like the Redskins game. It could be a 27-20. It could be a 31-24 type game. And so that's what I'm anticipating. All right. Quick music corner. On Tuesday night, my hero Stevie Wonder was in town. I attended the Stevie Wonder Sing Your Song as We Fix Our Nation's Broken Heart tour at CFG Arena in downtown Baltimore. Stevie is on a special 10 city tour. It's kind of tied into an election. This is kind of like a get out the vote tour where he's really encouraging people to head to the polls to vote their hearts. Let's heal the nation, get away from hate. Although he did not come out and say that you should vote for Kamala Harris, you can pretty much feel that that was the vibe because the Obamas brought him out on the stage to open the show, and so Michelle and Barack Obama brought him out to a sold out crowd at CFG. The Obamas, they also did a podcast, produce a podcast with Questlove on Audible. If you got an opportunity, go and download it. It's a great podcast on the genius years of Stevie. Stevie put out these 5 albums within a 7 to 8 year span that all won album of the year. And, most people identify this as his genius period. I don't think an artist has ever rivaled that in their careers. And so Stevie came out, man, and he just did the hits. The hits. Stevie's catalog is ridiculous. I mean, hit after hit. The hits that you wanted, some of the deep cuts you didn't know he was going to do. I mean, he gave us a 2.5 hour show. He took a 30-minute intermission where he had Morgan State's gospel choir came out. They did a number. He had another young singer. Maybe he's producing her. She came out, did a couple songs, and then Stevie came back on, man, and powered us through another hour of hits. So, I mean, from My Share Real More to Sign Seal Delivered, I'm Yours to songs from Talking Book, Living for the City, Don't You Worry About a Thing, songs from Song in the Key of Life, I Wish, Sir Duke, all of the hits, man, all of the hits. I mean, it was just an outstanding experience. I went with my wife and my daughters. My daughters have become Stevie Wonder fans because, when you're driving on family vacations and you're driving, you can control the radio. And so, because I'm the Stevie fan and I'm driving, that means they're getting a lot of the deep cuts. They're hearing all of the genius albums. And so they are Stevie Wonder fans in their own right. And so this was their first time seeing Stevie. This is my second time seeing Stevie. I saw him on the Songs in the Key of Life tour several years ago. And yeah, I can't stop talking enough about it. And so just an outstanding experience. I know a lot of people out there got to go out there. I've seen people's posts and everything. If you ever get an opportunity, and Stevie 74, it's amazing that at the age of 74, he still remembers all these lyrics. He's still singing at a strong clip. Like, you really thought it was the album. I mean, his voice has not faded. You can tell he got a little tired at some points, but I mean, for the most part, you got prime Stevie Wonder. I don't think we're going to see him on tour too much unless Trump wins, and then we need him to go back out in another 4 years to get people to the polls. But yeah, Stevie Wonder, the Fix Our Broken Heart tour, outstanding, a great evening, and I love you, Stevie. So just wanted to share that.
All right, good shit, man. We
Yeah,
talked
yeah, yeah,
about
yeah.
this in the last podcast, how the wife and I were able to go see Stevie the last time he came to Baltimore. And it was an amazing experience then. So I'm sure it was even better now. I did see a lot of pictures, especially of the Obamas. When the Obamas come out, the shit is all set off
Yeah,
right then and
yeah,
there. So
yeah. People just went went
just goes
crazy.
up from
Yeah.
there. It just
Yeah, yeah,
definitely
yeah.
goes up from there.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just an outstanding night. We were on the floor. We had seats in section one. I did have one. I don't want to call him a knucklehead, but this guy came up to me after the Obamas went off the stage. Stevie goes into his first song, and people are standing up. Well, they got a big screen up on the stage so everyone can see because this is Stevie's show. Everybody's going to stand up. So, man, after standing for about 5 minutes, guy comes up to me. It's like, excuse me, brother. You kind of in our way. You standing or whatever. And so I went ahead and sat down. And Paula was like, "Why'd you sit down?" I was like, "Yeah, this guy said I was blocking him." She was like, "Do he know we had a Stevie Wonder concert? That's why they got the screen up here so everybody can see." And when Stevie went into this next song, everybody stood up. So I was like, "He'll get over it." And so I stood for the rest of the night. And at the end of the show, he came back up to me. He was like, "Yeah, man, I'm sorry, brother. I was like, hey, man, once everybody stood for that second song, I said, you would be okay." And I just started laughing in his face. So I was like, yeah, I said, I figured you would be okay once you saw these 20,000 people in this arena standing for most of the concert. So I figured you would get over it. So,
Yeah, you can't go to
come on, man.
concerts, sporting events, any type of venue like that, and expect people to sit down.
Right.
It's nice if they do, but maybe he's never been anywhere before. But as soon as you see the first few rows stand up, just know you about to have to stand up. Because
Right.
once one stands up, two's gonna have to stand up,
Yeah.
three's gonna have to stand. It's a
People
domino
were standing
effect,
up in
so.
front of me. I didn't tell them to sit
Yeah,
down. There's a screen up
can't.
there. I just looked
Yeah,
at the screen.
you
Or I stood
cannot.
up.
If you notice, and when you go to concerts and sporting events, they say cut your cell phones off, try to be respectful. They never say stay in your seat.
Right.
Because they don't want you to stay in your seat.
Right. No.
The athletes, the artists, they don't want you to stay in your seats. They want you to get up.
Yeah, we're not at the Meyerhoff. We're not at the Symphony Hall. I mean, this is Stevie.
And you're also not in preschool where you have to sit Indian
Right.
style, so little Johnny behind you can
So
see
you
the
can-
board also.
Yeah, you pay just as much as I pay for my ticket. There's a big screen.
over,
Stand up,
sir.
brother, or just lean back and look at the screen while
Matter of fact, you should have looked at him when you stood up and be like, "Hey, bro, I don't mean no harm, but you might want to stand up."
I should have.
Everybody else, stand
Yeah. Did you have a top 10, bro, or did you want to go into Come On Yo?
No top 10. Let's go into Come On Yo.
All right, I do have a Come On Yo this week. Come on,
Okay.
yo, Barack Obama, stop talking down to black people. Now, we're a couple weeks from the election and the battle of the White House between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Now, in the effort to motivate people to vote, like I told you, they were at the Stevie Wonder concert. The Democrats, they sent out former President Barack Obama to the battleground state of Pennsylvania to inspire voters to go to the polls and vote for Harris. Now, during one of his stops, Obama, I guess he was having an off-the-cuff conversation with black male voters who have been identified as a major concern for this election. Because, you're hearing whispers that Trump is getting a lot of support from black men. There are, several celebrities leaning towards not supporting Harris or sitting out the election. And so, they sent out Barack to scold black men. Y'all get to the polls. He told black men, stop making excuses and support Harris. Now, this message is very on point for the way that Obama, how he talks to black men specifically. Now, this is a guy that was in the White House for 8 years, didn't really, have a lot to say to black men. Only when he did talk to black men, it was usually in stereotypes like, Cousin Pookie, telling Cousin Pookie to get off the couch and stop playing PlayStation and go to the polls. When he gave the graduation speech at Morehouse, telling them they need to be responsible. It's amazing. Barack never goes to the white audiences. He doesn't go to Karens who this election is going to fall to, the white women vote. He doesn't go to Karen and say, Karen, stop voting for a man who's taking away your woman's rights. But no, they send him out to us, to the barbershop, to the corners where he can talk down to us. And so, come on, Barack Obama. I mean, yes. Is misogyny kind of like an underlining issue or so why some of these men are saying they're not going to vote for Kamala? Sure. It's the same reason that most of these white men are saying they ain't gonna vote for her. Are you talking to these white men about getting up and supporting a black woman? No. Are you talking to these white women about supporting a woman? No. So let's stop putting all the pressure on black men. Black men have voted over 80% for the Democratic presidential candidate over the last decade of or more of elections. And so, yeah, come on, yo. Let's just stop beating up on the brothers. Yeah, brothers, we need to get out. We need to get out and vote. And we need to talk about some substantial things, but Obama, we don't need you talking about Pookie and these are your sisters and you came from a woman. Yeah, we know all of that, bro. So I know that's not popular because you don't talk about Obama, but
I'm not going to get into it too much. I will say this is although it may not be as historic, but I will say this is Obama's pound cake speech.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
I will say that I'm not going to get much into it, but I will say that now. But also let me say this: the one thing that it did show and did recognize, and I don't think a lot of us
responsibility.
The one thing that it shows, and we are probably not recognizing, is that, and I don't know if it's out of desperation, but someone is finally valuing the vote of the black male. We don't get as much attention as the black female, the white female, even the white male when it comes to voting. So I don't know what that means in terms of how it makes us feel, but at least in this election, it's being recognized that our vote is needed, no matter who it's needed for. The black male vote is needed, and I don't remember a time where that has ever been in the forefront of any election.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. He must have talked to Bill before he came out and did that, because I'm like, yeah, come on, bro. Let's do that.
And in my attempt not to say much more about it, I will say that there are times I feel about Barack as I feel about Ray Lewis, which is love you, brother.
Speak on
but
it.
At certain times, I need you to relax.
Speak on it.
So
Speak on it.
I'll leave it at that. Anyway, so let me get into my come on, yo. And I'm gonna have to go. I had to pull these numbers up, and I talked about it on Facebook yesterday. I'm gonna have to pull these numbers up because I remember. Actually, you know what? Let me take it from another route. Garland, you ever shopped at Walmart?
I hate Walmart, but I have shopped there. I'm a Target person.
Okay, well, you ever shopped at Target?
Yes.
Let's go to Target.
I love Target.
Let's say you have a pair of, you go into the men's section in Target and you see some, let's say Levi's. You see a pair of Levi's.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's the Target brand of clothes that they have in there? What's the Target brand?
They have Levi's and stuff. They have
a Target brand also. What's the name of the Target brand? That's
let's call it Target.
Nah,
Target jeans. It's something, but I can't remember.
Else. I can't remember the name.
Bullseye.
It's something in company. I can't remember that.
Right.
And let me go back to Walmart. So let's say you go to Walmart and you see some. Let's say you see some Oreo cookies, yes. And then next to the Oreo cookies, you see some Equate brand cookies.
Yes.
And and they look the same.
Yeah.
It looked the same.
Right.
You know what I mean? You go
Equate.
Stay with me now. You see some Equate. Let's say you go to buy some soap. You see Dove. Mm-hmm. You see Dial. Mm-hmm. You see Oil of Olay, Irish Spring. You see all the good soaps, and then you see the Equate brand.
Yeah.
Now, Walmart is telling us, if you look at the ingredients, that the Equate brand is just as good as the name brands, but just will cost you a little less.
Okay.
Most of us will be like, well, let me try it. If you're a penny pincher, you're going to just go after the Equate brand.
True.
Let me call out some numbers for you real quick. Let me, and we're going to wrap this all around. Let me call out some numbers for you real quick. Just stay with me now.
Oh, God. Yeah, go ahead.
60 million,
60 million,
55 million,
55 million.
another 55 million,
Mm-hmm.
another 55 million,
Mm-hmm.
53.1 million,
Mm-hmm.
53 million, 52.5 million, and 52 million. If you had to pay a quarterback that much money a year and still get the same results, if not better, which one would you choose?
I would. You know what? I would choose 60 million. I mean, I want to.
You getting the same
I
results.
getting the
You would
same
choose the
results.
60.
Well,
Yeah,
I would pay the cheapest. I would pay. Is it
you would
53.1?
pay the 52 million. You would pay the
52 million.
52 million, right?
I would.
Okay. Okay. Let's go to some more numbers here. 231 million, 230 million,
Mm-hmm.
219 million, 218.7 million, 200 million, and 185 million. Which one would you pick if you had to pay a quarterback and get the same, if not better, results?
Whatever Lamar's making.
It's
T30.
absolutely. So let's go back and call out some names because
Yeah.
I remember back last season when Lamar was going through his contract, you all was saying he ain't worth the money.
I ain't never say that.
But the Equate brand Lamar Jackson, because Dak Prescott is making 231 million, Deshaun Watson is making 230 million.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the guarantees. I'm sorry, let me go back. Dak Prescott guarantee is 231 million. Deshaun's is 230 million. Joe Burrows is 219 million. Justin Herbert is 218.7 million. Trevor Lawrence is 200 million. And Lamar Jackson is a measly Equate value brand 185 million guaranteed.
Wow.
And ain't none of these quarterbacks doing better. Let's go a little further. This year he's beat Dak. He's beat Joe. He has beat in the past Justin Herbert. I don't think Justin Herbert has a win against Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
Deshaun is 3-1 against Lamar, and his one win came last year. Trevor Lawrence, I believe, is 2-1 against Lamar. A couple years ago, they came back and beat the Ravens in the game. But the Equate brand is just as good, if not better. But now let's go to the per year salary. Dak is making 60 million a year. Joe Burrow is making 55 million a year. Trevor Lawrence is making 55 million a year. Jordan Love, who's probably the best in this list above Lamar, is making 55 million a year. Tua is making 53.1 million a year. Jared Goff is making 53 million a year. Justin Herbert 52.5, and the Equate Lamar Jackson is making 52 million a year. Come on, yo. Y'all stop disrespect. Y'all disrespected Lamar all these years. Y'all disrespected him last year when he ain't worth the money. He ain't. He is a bargain basement brand pay. To be very honest, he ain't making enough money. He is not making enough money. The Ravens owe him more. As a matter of fact, cut the check. Since he signed this contract, he's won an MVP, went to an AFC championship game, the division title. What more do you want from the Equate brand? When I go to Walmart tomorrow, I'm buying all Equate shit. I'm throwing away all this brand name shit. I'm throwing away the Betty Crocker, the Pearl Milling Company, which should be Aunt Jemima anyway. I'm throwing away the Dow, the Dove. I'm throwing away the Degree. Well,
don't do it.
I'm not gonna get Equate brand deodorant. I'm gonna keep the Degree.
Arms gonna be burning up. Gonna be like putting Tussie under your arms.
Come on, yo. Y'all get my point. You get my point. Stop talking about Lamar. He is beating your favorite guys. He beat Dak. He beat Joe. He beat Trevor. He ain't played Jordan Love yet. The last meeting he beat Tua. The last meeting he beat Jared Goff. Last meeting he beat Justin Herbert. What are y'all talking about? Still not giving him a respect. He ain't good enough. Well, he ain't taken past the AFC championship game. Unless your quarterback is named Patrick Mahomes, yours didn't either. Come on, yo. Stop talking about my court. You know what? Let me get my Terrell Owens on real quick. That's my quarterback, man. You talking about my quarterback? Come on, yo. That's my quarterback, man. Come on, yo. Stop talking about Lamar. Y'all start valuing Lamar. And here's the funny thing. I'm not even talking about the nation. I'm talking about you Baltimoreans that are supposed to be Raven fans.
I was gonna say that I don't hear it. I don't hear it locally. I hear it nationally that people are saying that, but locally, I think people will understand that what Lamar's value is.
Are
Lamar's
they?
value. I
Are
would
they?
hope so. I don't.
You not on the right sites. You're not on the right sites. Because I'm telling you, and I hate to say it. I hate to say it. I need Obama to come out and talk to these brothers about Lamar. That's what I pound cake about Lamar because there's some of you brothers out here.
Don't bring him out. Don't bring him out.
You know what? You know
They're
what?
definitely going to be Commanders fans by the end of the speech. Don't bring him out. Don't bring
Let
him
me.
out to talk to black men because he
You
don't
know
like
what?
black men.
I'm finished talk. I'm finished talking about Lamar because real quick, come on, WNBA. You have Game 5, the deciding game of the WNBA championship on Sunday night. That is NFL night. Are you kidding me?
They have, like I said, man, they have not. I don't know what's going on with these leagues. They have not figured out how to schedule the games. Yeah.
Your last 2 games were amazing. Anescu won game 3, almost won game 4.
I caught the third and a little bit of the fourth quarter of last night's game.
Oh my god!
And like I said, a Friday night game, y'all should be doing more to promote that.
First of all, Friday night is the worst.
It's the worst night. But
the worst night.
If you're gonna have it on a Friday night, maybe you should have it on the signature. Nobody's watching regular TV on a Friday night. You should have that on the signature channel. You should have that on ABC. That shouldn't be on ESPN.
The WNBA is getting record numbers of viewers now. They're getting averaging over a million viewers.
Why would you put that game on ESPN on a Friday night? And I think it was on ESPN too. I don't even think it was on ESPN on the regular ESPN. So
come on, WNBA.
They haven't figured it out yet.
Do better because you have a product now.
It takes them a while. You know what, Calvin? It took them a while to figure out the women's Final Four because remember they were playing like the women's championship game was on a Tuesday after the national championship game, and it was somewhere mixed in the Final Four. But they figured out, okay, let's put the semifinal on Friday night. People will watch it, and then we come back on Sunday and put the final on Sunday. I don't know. They need to have a revelation, but yeah.
Anyway, that's my come on, yo. Shout out
and
to
actually,
maybe we should Lamar Jackson.
Maybe we should be nice to him because if it wasn't for the Olympics, actually WNBA season probably be over by now.
Yeah, it might be over
because they had to take a month and some change break for the Olympics.
So you want to give them some grace on scheduling?
Nope. Nope. But I'm just saying,
Sundays are for NFL. Even Major League Baseball knows that. You don't challenge the NFL.
NFL taking over everything now. They're taking Christmas. They're taking it all.
The only thing that
they got
really
Thursdays.
NFL on Sundays is golf and auto racing. They can challenge the NFL on Sundays because people will watch that. I don't know why people will watch that.
But yeah, they're taking Christmas. They got the holiday. Yeah.
They've always had Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
they've always had Thanksgiving stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, another great show. We under an hour, 30 seconds to an hour, so that's a great show. I can get back down to the landlord because he down there.
Double G week. Let's see if we have pull out another Double G.
I ain't calling no another nigga Double G week. You know what? You can catch us on all the podcast platforms. We're live on YouTube right now. You can catch us on the YouTube channel. On the repeat, you can watch it again. And if you do have Spotify, you can catch us on Spotify Live, and you can see my disdain when Garland starts talking about the Double G week. Let me play this outro because I just don't understand.
Garland Thomas wanna jump. Big Show picks wanna jump.
You have been listening
Wanna
to
stomp.
the B.I.G. Show.
I
The show
promise
was
to
produced
stomp.
and written by Calvin
The
Coates
host
and
of
Garland Thomas
nothing
for All
but
Things Black
stomp.
Productions.
It
Follow
ain't
us
over.
on all of your
It
podcast
ain't over.
media platforms.
What is it live until the brother? Because Garland is a cheater. All right, yo, later.